Hello, 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 Allegheny Trail lovers and followers. We're coming at you for another November episode. Super excited, y'all. We've got a fabulous guest tonight. We've got my co host, Justin Mullins. We've got Julie behind the scenes producing everything. Let's bring everybody out real quick and say hello to everybody. Here we go, team. So, hello to Josh Sheets. Going to be our guest tonight. Just through hike the whole trail. We're going to dive in a little bit with him, do a little recap of what's happened in the last few weeks with Justin and actually with Julie because we ran into her at a trail event. So, Justin, let's do a little recap for our listeners. Since October, we've had a couple trail events. Do you want to talk a little bit about Lake Sherwood event?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks now. We went up to Lake Sherwood, cleared about a 12-mile of the trail. We had a group come out, 12, 15 people, something like that. We had a lot of blowdowns from Hurricane Helene and some of our summer windstorms we had through there. So we had a 3-day work event where we cleared out over 120 blowdowns in just a few days. So it was a lot of work. I'm glad we had a large crew come out there because I was worried about being able to get the whole section cleared, but we had a lot of volunteers ready to come out. So that was great to see that many people come out, and it wasn't really advertised a lot in advance. So we had some great turnout for just maybe not even a week's notice.
Yeah, for sure. And the weather was great for us too to keep rocking it. Had some great sawyers, put in a lot of time, a lot of hard work. So shout out to everybody that was at that event. I know also Section 2 had a couple nice work events. They hit some tread work real hard throughout that area. And we're going to dive into this a little bit more with Josh because he was just on our trail, like we said. But just this past weekend, we actually ran into Julie at an event up here in West Virginia at the LRC B&B. And Julie, you want to say anything about traveling back up to By God?
Of course. I mean, West Virginia, how do you get much better than that? Every time I drive to West Virginia, I always forget how back road, beautiful country that state, y'all's state is, I should say. And yes, we had a fantastic weekend at the Laurel River Club Bed and Breakfast. Such a great time to spend with Marsha and her entire family. And it was primarily a film festival for a film that was produced right on their property, which I learned over the weekend goes right, or the Allegheny Trail goes right down beside the property. And that was totally awesome. And just had a lot of really good fellowship, a lot of good talk about the Allegheny Trail. And truth be told, on my way home, I was like, dang, I got to do that trail. So, yeah, I know you guys are eating away at me to get out on the Allegheny Trail, and was even talking to Stephanie about maybe coming back over my spring break and getting some section hiking miles in on segment 2. And to be honest, I want to spend more time at the B&B. I want to spend more time with Marsha, and I just want to learn more about what they have going on. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited to spend more time on the Allegheny Trail. Y'all are growing on me.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I love that. And what's not to love about Marsha and Kendall and the whole family? And I'm going to bring Josh in real quick here for a second before we formally introduce him. But you know, Josh, you just hiked this trail. This is in Section 2. And you had a unique opportunity to also have an encounter, I'll call it, with Marsha and her family. Why don't you take a second and tell everybody what happened when you were cruising by there?
Sure. Well, I had read about this place that they have all these animals. The property is very beautiful. They do farm to table. They do a lot of educational work. And they couldn't be nicer. So it was kind of rainy. I was getting the after effects of Helene, and it had rained for about a week when I got there, or by the time I got there. And I said, I just don't want to stay in my tent. And I spent 2 days in Davis with a friend. So I wasn't feeling like I deserved a bed again, you know? And she said, well, you can stay in the hot house, the hot tunnel, which was like the empty greenhouse they had in the back of the property. And it was fun. It was fun. I got to have breakfast there. They offered me venison chili for dinner. And she said it was donation based for hikers if you camp there, if you use their facilities. They're just really wanting to embrace the trail and the hikers. They see it as a win-win.
Sure. Did you get a brownie or any cookies, anything sweet that comes out of that kitchen? Good Lord.
I did get a cookie. But I just remember all the animals. They had bunnies. They had just sold their horses. They had pigs, chickens. I mean, this is a working farm. And just to kind of be there, and her daughter was like moving the fence around where the sheep were. So I got to see. It was just, and like I said, they were so nice. But yeah, camping in the hot tunnel. They call it a tunnel. I call it a greenhouse, but she's like, yeah, you can just blow up your iPad and stay in there. And it literally was like a huge tent.
Yeah. You probably try your stuff out too, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I just want to pair those two things together real quick, and we should probably take a minute, Justin, and formally introduce Josh. So I'll give my take on Josh. I'm just kind of hanging out, was open in the day, did a few things, went and checked Facebook, and I was like, oh, sweet. There's a new hiker starting at the AT or at the top of the ALT. And next thing I know, get a message like, hey, Justin, what's going on with this guy? You know what I mean? So tell me, that was my first impression. I was, man, that guy looks like a kick butt hiker, man. He's totally ripped. He's going for it. He's posting these beautiful pictures. But Justin, feel free to chime in here. And I know you guys were talking way before I saw that.
Yeah. Before Josh even started hiking the trail, it was when I was on trail this last January, where we had just got become FarOut ambassadors for this year. And in one of our group chats there, I was just posting there. I was through hiking the Allegheny Trail, updating some FarOut baits and some map data. And he sent me a message like, "Oh, I'll be doing that later this year." I was like, "Oh, great, yeah, well, yeah, or I'll get here and just let me know when you're hiking it. We'll just trying to meet up sometimes." It just worked out that we had some photo shoot in Pocahontas County, so I invited him to come out, and fortunately, it worked out. I picked them up one morning, and we drove up there. Had a great day doing the photo shoot, and just got to meet up there, and just really had a great time. Before I dropped him off that evening, he kept on going down the trail.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things, Josh, too, like the Allegheny Trail, I know you experienced this with that element of family. And so kind of right before, I kind of tracked you where you at, whatever, coming into Durban, and had a nice experience there. That's like kind of the midway part of the trail, and kind of another small town, but that's one of our big anchors. And, for our listeners that are new to this podcast, what we're trying to do is we're really trying to hit some infrastructure, not just on trail, think infrastructure off trail. So the LRCs that resupply, the Durban Station 2s that resupply, the Durban East Fork campgrounds that resupply. We're building these elements, and I know Justin worked hard this year on the FarOut to go ahead and add some spur trails into like Marlinton, where we kind of went and had pizza and stuff after the photo shoot. But I know from your perspective, I'd love to hear about, some of the things you're seeing on trail, what your impressions are.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed my hike of the Allegheny Trail. I thought the treadway was well varied. In the beginning, if you start at the northern terminus, you have a lot of country roads. not a lot of traffic, hardly any traffic, great views. But yeah, those resupply points are, in my opinion, perfectly spaced out because you hit Davis and Thomas, and right on down Durban. You can go into Marlinton. You walk right through Cass. So there's all these beautiful little interesting spots. And I can tell that the towns are working very hard to not only welcome hikers, but to build out that infrastructure. In Durban, they're very proud of the mural that Heidi painted. It's gorgeous. I think the Cass General Store had a new owner. He was very, friendly, wanted to know how the trail was, if I needed anything. I got to meet Buster that owns Station 2, and you can rent a room to stay above the restaurant, which was really nice. So there's all these, and of course, I can't forget Davis and Thomas. They're like the crown jewels of the trail towns, if you will. But I had a great time in town. And I did go into Marlinton, stayed at the old Clark Inn, and one of the proprietors did come up and actually picked me up at the gas station. So,
Nice.
a great time.
Nice. And so that's one of the things just this year we've had 1 year to attack these partnerships. And it's great to hear somebody like yourself who's so accomplished in the hiking world. And we're going to dive into that next, but speak to those elements. We're always looking to improve and grow. So feedback, anybody out there who's hiking our trail, getting ready to hike our trail, you can look for questions, send us questions. We're here to help. Number one. Number two, feedback. If you hiked our trail and you have ideas, we're here to help too, right? So paying it forward. But Josh, let's dive in a little bit about you, man. Kind of a rock star, let's face it. So you've been hiking a bunch. Tell us how you got into hiking, first of all. Where you from? What's going on in the world with Josh? How you got to be where you are on this podcast right now?
Oh man. Well, how much time we got? So,
We got enough. Trust me, we got enough, brother.
I graduated college in 2010, and the job market was not great. Still dealing with the Great Recession, so I decided to take a gap year, and I was like, I want to go hiking. This is something I've never really done. So I picked a short section of the Appalachian Trail in Maryland, which goes into Harper's Ferry. And it was 2 days, 3 nights, I think. And when I got to Harper's Ferry, I saw this sign and it said Georgia 900 something, Maine 1000 something. And I said, what the? I got to read about this. So the more I read about it, the more consumed I became. And so the year later in 2011, hiked the Appalachian Trail. Went on to do the Long Trail in 2014, Colorado Trail in 2018, some other smaller ones like the Foothills Trail in South Carolina, Laurel Highlands Trail in Pennsylvania. I've done the Tahoe Rim, Pacific Crest Trail. I'm literally just off the Pinhoti Trail.
As in
Can't forget
hours.
the Allegheny Trail. I might be. Arizona Trail. Did the Arizona Trail last fall. Hiking trails is addictive. I don't have any tattoos, but I tell people, I guess it's like having a tattoo. You can't have just one. But my career for about 10 years was social work. And I recently moved to Front Royal, Virginia, which is an AT trail town. And I left my career and I wanted to be in the mountains, and I just can't believe that much time has passed since my 2011 AT hike. But I'm looking forward to being much more involved in the PATC, the ATC, now that I am logistically closer to do so.
Sure.
So that's a little bit about me.
How many miles you have?
I'm sorry.
How many miles have you hiked on trail now?
7,500 roughly.
Average hiker, I guess. No,
Just well, but truthfully, I love the long trails. It's a challenge, but I really love the short trails, like the Allegheny Trail, the Pinhoti Trail. They're such a sweet length. You don't really have to interrupt your life to, that much to do a 300-mile trail. So I encourage people, check out the shorter trails. You'd be surprised that the communities are great. There's some passionate people, such as you folks, that I got to meet during the photo shoot. And, all the big trails get the attention, but I'm seeing that the shorter trails is equally as magical.
that's a beautiful statement. I appreciate that. Justin, what are your thoughts on what he said? I know you've got several thousand miles under your belt too.
Yeah, I mean, hearing all the hikes he's doing, I definitely, I love to do a lot of those trails. I've done Pinhoti Trail a few years back, and where he just got up of, and I mean, I really enjoyed that trail. Long Trail, Laurel Highlands Trail is on my list, and Foothills Trail as well. So there's a lot of trails I'd love to get on there and get hiking. So yeah, I'd love to. If we ever get some time to actually do a long trail together, or trail like this, a 300-mile trail would be great. But yeah, I mean, having that much experience, it definitely is a thing. I mean, I've been part of it since about 2019 when I started getting into hiking. So that short amount of time, it's definitely took over my life.
Yeah, your wife can definitely attest to that, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna fast forward here a little bit. So we're in the middle of the trail. I get some info about a photo shoot. Justin is brilliant and says, "Hey, can we bring Josh?" I'm like, "Of course, this would be fantastic." We've got we're just going to use first names, y'all. But we had a great group come down of the Pocahontas County CVB who are huge supporters of ours. Shout out to Pocahontas County. Everybody in that county's got so much love for outdoor recreation. And the Allegheny Trail's working again on our infrastructure and our partnerships there. So we were invited to be part of this photo shoot. And we were able to have a girl Morgan come out. We had a gentleman named Rick come out and his dog Bullet come out. So actually Justin and Molly were there and Josh was there, but the point was we actually wanted some dog pics, right? Some canine pics with their owners. We wanted some ladies, and we wanted some guys. And so we had a nice group of 4, and then we had what was it? 4 or 5 other shoots. Paparazzi followed us all over the moss and the rocks and beautiful leaves falling all over. So this photo shoot, y'all, is not quite out yet, but it will be, and we'll be posting about it. Super excited about it. Josh, was that your probably not, but was that like your first photo shoot or kind of in the realm of things? Because I want to throw in the mix here. This guy's super talented, right? He's a Hyperlight affiliate. He's a FarOut affiliate. He's not just an average guy walking through the woods having a great time. He's got some experience. So please share with us about that.
Well, I commend both of you for really connecting the dots on that. It was something that was mentioned to me, but I had no idea where, when, how. So kudos to Justin for scooping me up and making that happen. Really appreciated being a part of that. But yeah, like these were professional folks. I think they were from Charleston, if I remember correctly, Charleston, West Virginia, and had big old cameras with big old lenses. And, if they didn't get the shot, they would tell you to do it again, which is reminiscent of another photo shoot that I have been a part of. Tommy Corey, who his trail name is Turk, he's got a book coming out next year that I will be in. It's 101 Humans of the Outdoors. So we've met in Oregon, we've met in Damascus, Virginia, just so he could get various photos of me to be in this book. And yes, you did mention I am a Hyperlight ambassador. I've been since 2021. FarOut Scout, which is brand new to me, just for this year. And I think I love doing it. It helps give back and promote certain trails, or you can meet people that they can't figure out how to get their base weight down, or they struggle with just finding out information, and it feels good to be a resource for those people. But I've done so much backpacking, it's second nature, and I forget that it's not second nature to a lot of people.
True. No, I mean, I saw some of the photos we took. It's just our own photos, not those huge ones. Man, they were beautiful of you and your setup with the sun setting and the leaves. Yeah, that's a real special spot there too in Section 3. It's by it's kind of near the Beaver Creek Gorge, y'all, for those that can reference the trail and those that are going to be looking forward to this particular area. But super incredible moment for FarOut, as I understood it. I'm not sure up to that point, y'all. Why don't y'all just tell them about it?
I don't think it was.
Because I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, I know. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't think, I hadn't seen FarOut post anything, but I don't think there's been any other ambassadors meet this year. Did you see anything, Josh?
I did not. But the fact that we had 2 FarOut ambassadors from different states on the same trail, and wait till they find out that, like, we were like using the app in the photo shoot, like and it was just really cool. And the fact that FarOut has that scout platform, they are looking to add trails. And I know the Allegheny Trail is on it, but I did a hike of the Centennial Trail in South Dakota this spring. It's not on FarOut, so I kind of went out there to kind of maybe connect the dots to see if I could get it on the app. And fingers crossed, there's some good news coming down the pipeline. But yeah, I think it's a great program, and I was so happy to meet Justin. Super cool dude. Scoot me up from the dock, if you will. The dock in the Allegheny Trail, and off we went to the Beaver Creek Gorge.
Yeah, we had a little lunch.
Yeah, this one it worked out. I mean, where we were able to communicate without lack of service. I mean, I was real surprised how we were able to actually communicate for a meetup point there. So I'm glad it worked out.
That was truly a surprise to me. I have AT&T, but I had service a lot of the time in West Virginia. I was quite surprised. So yeah, the fact that we were able to communicate without an inReach was pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, y'all, again, different infrastructure. We're not even part of that. We got some influence, but we don't have any influence with that, right? So we're noticing different spots of the trail. People are reporting almost monthly. Hey, I got a bar over here. Hey, I had service over here. Whereas before it wasn't that way. And I don't know about you, Justin. I think you have AT&T also, honey. But that's been the primary, I don't want to say gold standard, but most available reception that I'm finding top to bottom. So those of you out there, we do have some super remote spots. Kind of still encourage you to do the GPS device, whichever one you have there, for safety reasons. But yeah, even when you get in the towns that look super remote, you can always find a library or often a business that's willing to share the Wi-Fi stuff with you there. But one of the other things too, I was just going to throw out, I know you stayed at a couple shelters. Did you stay at the Graham shelter?
I stopped by there.
Okay.
I did not spend the night, but
Gotcha.
whether you spend the night there or not, you need to walk up into the meadow and check out that view.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, and it's a cool story about that shelter, how it's built, who built it, um, whose land I think it's on. It's stuff that not all hikers sometimes think about. But there were some informational signs in the shelter, which I found to be helpful.
Nice. Justin, that's your section, man. That's your home team right there. I know you're very proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great shelter. I mean, grand family. I'm really, really lucky to be able to work with them to let us build that shelter on their property, and not only do they just let us build it, that's Graham actually sawed the lumber up and helped build it himself. So he was a big part of that, and he recently passed away last year. So he was a big part of it until he passed away. So, it wasn't long, about 3 or 4 months before he actually passed away. We had a hiking event up there at the shelter, and we invited all our family to come up there. We had a nice little cookout at the top of that mountain. So I'm glad we were able to do that before him and his brother passed away just after that. So, yeah, it's definitely a special little place there.
Sure. And I know for those of you that may want to get a view visually of what we're talking about, again, Sketching Summits, Heidi Nesbitt, who did the mural in Durban, did artwork for us as well this year when she through hiked the trail. And this particular, you can get a view of this in our store. We've got some prints of it. And that is literally the view from the shelter when you wake up. So it's pretty neat. If you go to the hikethealleghenytrail.com and go to our store, you can see some of the prints we're talking about in there. So neat stuff there. But hey, we moved into times have changed. Literally, we lost an hour of hiking, but I like to see it as we gained an hour of planning, and we gained an hour of scheduling for off-trail maintenance, on-trail maintenance, like stuff to keep ratcheting it up. This Allegheny Trail family. And so I know, Josh, you've got a lot of feedback for us and a lot of accolades, a lot of great compliments for us. But Julie, I'm going to have you bring back in, if you can, this one little picture. And it's going to take us down a little rabbit hole for a second. I think you know the picture. You can do, honey, maybe the one with him holding it first. Yeah, there you go. So those of you that can't see it but are listening in the car, hanging out in the airport or something, what we've got is Josh. I'll actually let you just talk about it.
Well, thanks to you, Nicole, for bringing those beers to the pre-photo shoot lunch. I had no idea that Big Timber Brewing in Elkins, West Virginia, brewed up a beer to celebrate this trail, which I think is super cool. It was super delicious. But for me, what took the cake was the artwork on that can. The artwork is highlighting all sorts of cool points along the trail, some animals, some flora and fauna you might see, and it has an outline of West Virginia and the trail going down the state. And I thought it was literally beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen artwork on a beer can that beautiful. So I enjoyed one, and then I packed out one to have at the southern terminus when I finished, which was a bit of a challenge because I had to hike over 100 miles with that can.
Yes, I just want to set the stage for a minute for our listeners, okay, Josh? So you're friend. This is like 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever, noon. We're getting ready for our pre-photo shoot lunch. We know it's going to be a little bit of a longer day. And so it goes in his backpack, and we're up and down, up and down, up and down. Like he said, they were waiting on the light. They're waiting on the angle. They're having us, the photographers are having us do it again. Okay, one more time. Okay, one more time. So it's like the beer's got to be, be having a good time in your backpack. Then we finish, go have pizza in Marlington and hang out for a little while, chat. with Rick and Justin and you and I, and then you get ready to go hike again from Watoga. Not only are you going to go to the southern terminus and like celebrate, but and Julie, if you want to show that other picture, this is where we're going, and that must have been 100 miles or so. But then you take it away and tell them what else happened.
Well, after I enjoyed I call it the Terminus Beer. That's a good treat right there on Peters Mountain where you hit the AT, and that was going down memory lane for me as well. I packed out the empty can. I didn't crush it, and I had to be super careful because now it's empty and it'll crinkle more easily. But I managed to get it back home, and I peeled it off, and then I framed it. So that's what was just on the screen. That thing, yeah, it's so cool, and it's such a cool memento of the hike. And I mean, it came from you, how far I carried it. It's just cool. It's just so cool.
For sure. That's a memory I'll never forget. When you said it to me, I was like, what? And you're like, it's from the camp. I'm like, no, that's why I was mind blown. It's that's a real testament though, Josh, to your generosity, right? Your involvement, Justin's generosity, Pocahontas County, Rick, it goes on and on and on. And that's one of the things I love about being involved in this organization is the selflessness, the incredible people we meet. I mean, look at Julie behind the scenes here, what she's doing and her role in the hiking community and the filming community is just such a rich group of diversified skill sets, but so much heart, like really so much heart. And just a privilege to get to know you, privilege to get to hang out with you. I learned a few things from you, by the way, when I was standing around watching you set up your whole system and do your thing. So anybody that gets to hang out with Josh, gets a minute to pick his brain or even hike with him, like you said, Justin, that was, I think FarOut should sponsor you guys. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't turn it down.
There you go. There you go. Good stuff. So what's next for you, Josh?
Well, I'm going to enjoy the holidays with family. You know, when you're away hiking, you can't be with your family. So Thanksgivings are in the quarter, Christmas, New Year's, all that good stuff. Might go see some family in Texas, but I've got my eye on the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club. Maybe hoping to work with them next year. That's all I can really say, but transitioning out of social work, I think it's time that I start giving back. When you hike so many miles, and especially on the Allegheny Trail, how I met you folks, and I see, just the amount of work that it takes to maintain a trail. I think the AT and the PCT kind of spoiled me, and it wasn't till I hiked a lesser known, shorter trail that had a little bit of a wake up call. It's like, there's real people out here sawing these logs and nailing those blazes. And so I want to start giving back. I've hiked enough. I'll continue to hike, but I want to give back more.
Oh, that's a huge impact, man. Good for you. And I know when you're out there hiking, so much time to think and so much precious alone time, you may have your phone, this and that, but really in our trail, you're not seeing a ton of people. That's one of the beauties about it. And I think that it's really cool. You kind of have that revelation, that moment that you want to give back. And we got some really cool events coming up. We're not releasing them right now. Folks, stay with us. Check the website. They're going to be coming out soon. But we have some really fun new events coming out that, at this point, Josh, like it or not, baby, your family, you're always welcome here. You're always,
Thank you.
We look forward to having you come back across the mountain there at any point. But Miss Julie, what do you have to say, girl? I see you coming on.
Yeah, we've got a couple questions in the chat. So let me pop these up here. Kimberly wants to know, Josh, when did you start and finish the Allegheny Trail?
I started in mid-September. believe it was September 16th, and it took about 3 weeks. So I finished in early October, and then continued to hike southbound for a little on the AT, just because I had some more time to kill. But it was a great 3 weeks. Nicole, you mentioned it. You don't see many people on the Allegheny Trail. I saw a lot of friendly people in town, but I did not see another hiker except around Hanging Rock, which is kind of the crown jewel. But there's always people up at Hanging Rock, morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
And then, Josh, we
Exactly
got
true.
another question for you from Frank. He wants to know, what was the hardest section of trail or most challenging?
Oh gosh, the road walks in section 4, just the length of them. I actually didn't mind. The scenery was beautiful, but it was just the length of the road walk. Also, there is some very remote sections, kind of when you leave the dock going southbound. Justin might be able to help me out on this. Laurel something trailhead that
Yeah,
they're
Laurel
kind of
River.
remote, Middle Mountain, all that. It's very remote. But I think that section got some trail maintenance, right, Justin?
It is section there on Middle Mountain, or not Meadow Creek Mountain. That's where we did our trail work. Well, I think the weekend after we met you.
All right, that's all the questions that are in the chat. So, Nicole, have back at it.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you all for those questions. And I know, actually, in the chat, I just want to make a shout out real quick. Miss Kimberly, she just through hiked our trail and submitted, I think, for the fastest known. And we've also got, I know, incredible. So we'll follow up with her, try to get her on the podcast, at least highlight her accomplishments as we move forward and verify everything on that. But we also in the chat, y'all, have a gentleman, Mr. Frank, who's going to be completing this trail, and he's been doing it in sections, and he's going to hit the big dog there, the AT, here in January. And so several people in the chat too were at our 50th. So hello to y'all again as we get ready to head into the holidays, get ready to kind of wind down the year, reflect, look at some of the, like I said, look at some of the accomplishments, look at some of the actual feedback we've gotten. We're listening to you. We're thankful for you. We know that we're growing like crazy. I mean, there's people every other day. Right now, I just met a lady from Canada who's hiking, just started yesterday. Another gentleman, unfortunately, Mark, who forgot his poles. But if it were me and mine, I'd want somebody to come help us. And so ran up there, gave him some poles, and he's out doing his thing and gonna enjoy it. Take their time, enjoy it, and they're excited about it. Again, people coming from some big trails want to do some little trails, but still have that challenge, still enjoy nature. And so, Josh, you see any animals when you're out on trail?
I did. I actually saw a lot of deer, saw one bear, saw turkeys, salamanders. I did not see any snakes.
Which is
And
in Columbia.
All the dogs I saw on the road walk were friendly. So,
Even better.
Exactly. I don't believe we've got a problem with that on our trail. You know, people report something, we address it, and we haven't really had any major complaints with that this year particularly. So, but anything else? You know, I'd love, Josh, for you to promote yourself here. Take a minute and tell people how they can keep up with you on Instagram, on all your social media platforms, because you're a big asset to the hiking community.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. My trail name is Soul Slosher. Facebook, Instagram, you can find me on there. Joshua Sheets. And I also, like I said, I'm a Hyperlight ambassador, FarOut scout. You can go to their respective websites, read about me. There is a film that came out in 2021 that Hyperlight sponsored. Just kind of a short story that's on my YouTube page. So, Soul Slosher, SOULSLOSHER.
Right on. And then
Unique name, but I've not met anyone that has it. So,
yeah, no, that's very creative. And then your book, your friend's book you're in, you want to just let everybody know what that looks like or when that may be coming out?
right. So May, it's coming out in May this coming year. So May 25. Tommy Corey literally went, I think, to almost all 50 states, Canada and Mexico to shoot in video and film 101 different people. And these are not all sorts of hikers, it's all sorts of people that are involved in the outdoors. There's farmers, there's people in wheelchairs that like to get out. And so it kind of touches on how to promote inclusivity, to make the outdoors a space for everybody. So I'm super excited. The book got picked up by Mountaineers Books out of Seattle. So I can't wait. I'm so excited. He does great work. So thank you.
Great. Well, we look forward to passing that link along and everything when that comes out. Sounds fascinating and just great for people to dive into and enjoy in the colder months. I know it'll come out in May, but I guess it won't be too cold. You'll be back on trail. My bad. But anyway, I saw Miss Kimberly also there in the chat say how much her FarOut comments really helped on her hike. And I think one of the big things, a takeaway, I'll be closing out here the Allegheny Trail probably hopefully the next 6 weeks. I'll be done with it. We'll see what the weather looks like there. But y'all, you guys both are ambassadors. So take a second and please relay to our community before we end the show tonight about how important their comments matter. Not like Kimberly said, not just, hey, you're helping me along here, but you're also helping the algorithm with the water and safety and all those components. Love for y'all to share about that because I know you're living and breathing it every day.
Yeah, Justin, you want to?
Yeah. I mean, the far out comments that people read really are, they're really helpful. I mean, especially with the water sources. That's with the drought we're in now. That really is key for a lot of people. Just if it wasn't for these comments, I mean, people would have to get it as much water as they hold, and just have to carry it a lot further than what they would normally if they, with the comments there, people leave. It really does help. I mean, it's a safety concern for a lot of people, just not being able to get enough water. I mean, especially, I drink a lot of water when I'm out there on the hike, so it's great for me to be able to strategically plan how much water to carry at one time. So with those comments, it's really great. It believes something about a blowdown or obstruction in the trail. It's not just great for hikers to be able to see that and know what's coming to adjust their schedule, but it's great for little maintainers. They can target an area that's been one of the blowdowns or a microburst, which it seems we've had quite a few of those this year. And we had quite a few windstorms this summer, which is just kind of in the Section 3 area, which, I mean, it really hit that area pretty good through there. So some of those comments and the people at the hike really helped us figure out what area to target and help clear those out. So these comments really, they come in handy. I mean, it's just a comment like self-service at this mile point. I mean, that's handy as well, and especially if you tell what service provider, because T-Mobile was probably the worst self-service provider on the trail that I've noticed. Verizon was probably second. That's just because I've got AT&T, but it's great to have all those comments on there. So, yeah, Joe, what's your take on it?
I agree with everything you said. When I started, it was still warm. It had been dry. Mm, And even with the week of rain, it was only kind of replenishing some sources. Mm, But yeah, the note about the blowdowns or trail maintenance issues, I know some maintainers do scan comments. They want to know. But also, I tried to leave town information about businesses, if their hours had changed, just if the business is closed, what have you. Um, Far out. The interesting thing about Far Out is there's kind of a foundation, but we can build on it. If there's a new restaurant, if there's a business in town that's very hiker friendly that's not on there, like we can kind of address that. So yeah, all those comments really help the user experience. And I was commenting a lot because I noticed there were not a lot of comments. So it does help with the water algorithm. If someone routinely says it's flowing, it'll kind of, it's like a water needle. It'll make sure it says flowing. But yeah, any comment is helpful, really, as long as it's constructive.
For sure. And Josh, we just want to thank you again for coming out. I want to thank you for taking the time to register for those hikers that are out there. We do have a hiker registration form. We also have a hiker completion form. And Josh, thanks for participating in both of those. Gives the hiker the opportunity to contribute while also providing us your safety information should an event arise. Should you need help or anything like that, we can kind of vet you a little bit in case you need a trail angel, you need a little pick me up, something like that, and let us know you're doing okay, right? So that's how we feel about it on the Allegheny Trail. We're getting ready to head off this episode. We're going to head into the holidays here shortly. Super opportunity to spend time, like Josh had said, with friends, family, hiking community, heading into Thanksgiving here, and we're going to have our next show on December 4th. But until then, feel free to check out our website, check out our social media platforms, follow us. We're growing. We appreciate your support. And with that, Justin, I'll let you take us out and close it, baby. Thanks for everybody coming out.
Thanks for coming on, Josh. I mean, it was great having you on here, and I'm really glad we got to meet up. Do we talk to you more in the future?
Well, thank you again. The hospitality and the commitment. So I cherished my hike. It was a great time. Thank you for having me on here. And I wish you well, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.